Dana White is one of those folks that people seem to hate for no reason, but it turns out there are quite a few reasons for hating the UFC president. Let's go through them all in today's video. The first one you might just agree with. Dana White is unprofessional. Professionalism is one of the most important qualities for anyone leading a team. As the president of UFC, it's something that obviously is expected of you, but it looks like Dana couldn't care less about it. Now that doesn't mean he isn't going to hear any criticism about it. White has been criticized for his lack of professionalism in the past as well. Actually, ever since he became the president of UFC, he's been highlighted for the way he acts. Some things are better left out of the public eye, but Dana would apparently disagree.
Did you talk about the country and did you talk about what's going on?
Well, we talked about a lot of things. I mean, we talked 3 hours. We talked about, anything from our favorite Rocky movie to...
Fans of UFC have noticed how Dana has never had any issues airing his dirty laundry for the world to see and talk about. Not to mention the way he treats some fighters on camera. I mean, it takes a mind-numbing level of entitlement to berate people of your own crew. That too on camera for the whole wide world to see. And we can't forget that he really does have a filthy mouth.
We've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I don't know what else I need. I just,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good way to look at it, but, I can figure some things out.
We all swear here and there, but God, this man does not hold back on his tongue when he wants to ridicule a fighter on camera. Now, you guys might think that I'm being too sensitive here, but I want you to think about it. These fighters don't really have the chance to defend themselves in front of their president or tell their side of the story to the cameras. It's just Dana telling the narrative and berating the fighters. Many fans think that it's finally time to change the president of UFC, but there is one thing. Dana does not berate all of the fighters. He favors some. We all have favorites, right? There are some fighters that we really like in MMA and some that we just don't vibe with. That's all normal and valid, but not when Dana does it. Why, you ask?
That's it. Make sure these two don't touch each other.
Oh, for real? That's your job.
100%.
Why did that have to be your job?
He's got guys there, too, that need to help.
Well, none of us have any power to influence the fighters' games or their images, not the way Dana can. And that's where the problematic part starts. I mean, I don't even have to explain why playing favorites as the president of UFC is really wrong. You guys already probably know how messed up it can be. One of the most important things that a president should do is be fair and just. But the way Dana favors some fighters over others not only really rubs some fans the wrong way, but also renders him unfit for the position.
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. Listen, we've been very patient in this whole thing and trying to get something done with him. And
now I know what some of you may be thinking. What proof do you have that he favors some fighters over the others? Well, first of all, it's pretty obvious. And second of all, I'm pretty sure everyone remembers this one. One of the biggest and most obvious examples of Dana playing favorites is when he gave Josh Koscheck opportunity after opportunity to fight, even though we all could tell that he's past his prime and wasn't really going to do much in fights anymore. Oh, and let's not forget Kos. Like, we all get how he's really good at his game and is super tough, but 5 straight losses? That sounds like something that should have had him cut off much before he actually was. Maybe we can all look past the favoritism, but this next one, not in a million years. You see, Dana White is a hypocrite. Now, I don't know about you guys, but nothing irks me more than hypocrisy, and especially when a person in power, such as the president of UFC, is doing it. And that's why it's one of the biggest reasons why fans of the sport want him out. Why do we say he's a hypocrite? Well, remember when Conor McGregor pulled out of UFC 200? Well, do you also remember why he pulled out? He pulled out of the card all because of the media obligations that were set out in front of him. And guess what?
Conor is a southpaw, and Conor hits hard. When he hits people, they go. Floyd's definitely not knocking him out.
Apparently, Dana did not agree with how extensive the plans were. After the whole drama, a lot of people sided with Dana and went against Conor. Conor returned at the UFC 202, and you would think that all of this would be the end of the drama. But no, it gets better. How, you might ask?
Floyd should be kicking in this, or why not just open it up and they both have pool noodles? I mean, why not just go nuts with this and really add everything you can think of?
Well, I want you to remember the time Ronda Rousey returned at UFC 207 to fight against Amanda Nunes. And now I want you to compare the two situations. Still don't know what I mean? Well, Ronda, if you don't remember, was allowed to skip almost all media commitments. But why wasn't Conor allowed to do the same thing?
And then, so great card tonight.
Thank you.
Killed it in MSG. what comes next after MSG? Like, what's your next big card?
Well, that's exactly what I want you to focus on. Why the hypocrisy? This shouldn't be acceptable. And fans did call Dana out on this. Why was one fighter allowed something but the other fighter wasn't? All fighters should be treated equally and given the same opportunity. Wouldn't you agree? And it just makes us think, if Dana could pull this move off so easily, what else has he done wrong that we didn't even notice?
Both times.
So Matt and Rory will be available for you guys to speak to.
Well, here's a hint. Dana is focused on the money. I'm sure that this is one reason you'll all agree with. It's pretty obvious. Ever since he became the president, it seems like Dana White has only one thing on his mind, and that is money. I mean, sure, we all like money, but for someone in his position, making important decisions based only on how much money it would generate is literally foolish. Let me give you just one of the many examples of when he did this.
All right, brother, I understand, man. Great fight.
Now, we all know that Yoel Romero is the #1 contender for the championship. It's honestly not even debatable. It's a fact. Apparently, everyone agrees with this. Well, everyone but Dana White. Why? Dana decided to award George St. Pierre the honor of battling Bisping in his comeback fight for the summer. It was obvious to literally everyone that the only reason he did this was for the money, and for the money alone. And like I said, this is just one out of the many examples of when Dana made decisions based solely on money.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely true that the feud between me, but it sells because it's real. It isn't the WWE shit, you know.
But again, we all know that at the end of the day, rankings don't even matter. UFC is always going to value fights that make the most money. And honestly, can we really blame them? It's a material world, and apparently Dana White is a material girl. But that doesn't mean people are gonna stop criticizing him for it. Dana has one opinion about all that criticism, and that is, suck it up.
It's grappler to compete in the heavyweight division. We got the interim middleweight championship of the world. Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker.
Talking about money and how much the UFC president focuses on it. Paying fighters what they deserve wouldn't be a big problem, right? Well, not exactly. Dana White underpays his fighters. Okay, so to be honest, we can't really blame this entirely on Dana White. But you know, a lot of fighters go to Dana as the middleman to sort out negotiations, so it adds up. The issue is, some fighters never get paid what they're owed, or what they deserve to be paid, while some other big-name fighters get paid unbelievably big sums of money. Now that is totally unfair. Conor and Ronda, being the two biggest names, get paid more than what they're owed, all because of their fame and the audience they bring to the UFC. Other fighters like Tony Ferguson aren't so lucky, unfortunately. And those were some of the reasons that the UFC president is hated. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.